Hello and good morning, everyone. Hello, Riyadh. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Ahsan here from Bangladesh. Welcome. Thank you very much, dear viewers. It's Sunday morning here in the UK, and our local time is 6:26 a.m. I'm with another IELTS class. So, what do you learn from this class, guys? We learn the tricks, tips, techniques, and the rubrics how you can get good score in IELTS exam. Um, as you might be aware that it's mostly designed for all the students for IELTS candidates, as well as those people who like to develop their speaking, reading, writing, as well as listening. So if you're interested, if you're all of them, possibly you might consider to join me. What you have to do is visit my profile and just click onto the free sign up classes. You'll get 2 free lessons. So grab the opportunity before it's gone. Okay, Ali, good morning. All right. So today our you know class would be, as I said, once again, it depends if there is any guest speaker is present here, then we can have the conversation. If not, then I have to just describe so that they can watch it later. I've seen that a quite good number of students have subscribed to this class, but sometimes they are not present. So let's move on. All right. Asen says I'm always waiting. Okay. Ali says I've been waiting. Thank you very much, guys. So it's a cue card in task 2 of IELTS exam, and the topic is describe a book you read last year. So it's the speaking part 2. Okay. So you have to describe what is the name of the book. When did you read it? What kind of book is it? Why did you like it? Any specialty? Any character did you like? Any other information? Any other related information? So, what kinds of book do you like to read and why? Is library available in your country? If so, can anyone borrow books from there freely? How many books you can take? Okay, how many books can you borrow at a time? For how many days can you keep the book? If you do not return the book on time, do you pay penalty? What happens if you lose a book? Library. Okay, guys, so that is the topic for task 2 and task 3. Describe a book that you read last year. In IELTS exam, dear viewers, please remember that there are 4 criteria that is assessed. Okay, the criteria are, hang on a second, let me go. So there is one spelling mistake. Specialty. Specialty means what did you like about the book? Any character did you like? Did you like, is there any moral in the book? Okay, Ali says, if I lose a book, I search for it. How did you search it? If you lose a book, it's lost. Okay, Ahmed, so that was a spelling mistake. Specialty means what kind of book it was, but if there is any special character or special line, theme, or any moral. I love the book because it's a story. What kind of story? It needs to be specific. In IELTS exam, as I said, there are 4 criteria an examiner will assess when you're speaking. Number 1, your fluency and coherence. Hi, CEO June. Thank you very much for the support. That's really awesome. Okay, so in task 2, remember there are 4 criteria. Honestly, in the speaking part, all of the tasks 1, 2, and 3, we have got 4 parts that are assessed by the examiner. And it's very important for us to know. Okay. First one is fluency and coherence. And what do you understand by this? Many a times our people are really confused about this term, fluency and coherence. Okay. Ahmed says, I usually like to read biography. Okay. And that's one of the answers. Okay, that's great. So fluency and coherence. And what do you understand by that? Fluency is the rhythm or the speed of your talking. We need to be careful when you're talking that we shouldn't speak faster as well as we shouldn't be very slower, okay? Because we have to maintain a minimum speed, an average speed, I should say, rhythm through which your audience will be able to understand you. Please bear in mind that because you're speaking in English, sometimes, speaking loud will help you. So we have to be loud in speaking, we have to be clear, and we have to maintain clarity. And sometimes we call it precisions, okay? It is really important for being an IELTS candidate or English speaker, when you're having any conversation. It doesn't matter you're sitting for IELTS exam, or if you're in a job interview, or if you're in any kinds of interview, like visa interview possibly sometimes. And you have to be very clear, well understood, and you have to maintain a minimum speed. That is what we call fluency. And other criteria for the fluency is that you don't have to be repetitive. Sometimes some candidates and some students always repeat the same word, which seems to be annoying in many cases. Like one of them is like in normal conversation, that's fine. Like it's kind of that, but IELTS exam, if you use a repetitive word, it impact on your score. So we have to be careful. And other repetitive words are like, you know what, well, actually. These are some of the common repetitive words people use. And like is very common. Then we have to be careful about giving longer pause, as I said. Sometimes some students stop in the middle of speaking because they don't know more vocabulary. They don't know how to create more sentences. You see, so this is very important in IELTS exam, which is why we always ask practice. The 1 hour with the teacher is not enough. The teacher can give you all the guidelines, show you all the techniques or rubrics, but you have to practice more at home when you've got free time. Okay, so that's called fluency. And coherence is when you're describing a topic step by step. One sentence or one point is related to another point, which is really important to get good score. Okay, and Ali says, I wrote these notes before. Okay, you need to be specific, Ali, when you're answering. Especially in IELTS exam, they want specific answer. So let me show you how the marks are divided. So there are 4 criteria. First one is fluency and coherence. You'll be given 5% marks, which is 2.25 in 9. The Lexical Resources, another 25%, that is 2.25 out of 9. then grammar accuracy and wider range. Then pronunciation. So these are the 4 criteria which your marks would be assessed and it will be determined. So lexical resources, once again, it deals with your vocabulary. It could be your synonyms or antonyms. It could be phrasal verbs. It could be group verbs. It could be a collocation. And it could be an idioms as well. And also, in some cases, they accept dialect. But be careful not to use their slangs like wanna, gonna, hapta, what's up in IELTS exam or any other formal interview. Okay, it will affect your score once again. And also, we have to know, different kinds of synonyms, because when you're using a word in a sentence and if you need to use it again, it will be better for you if you use the different kinds of synonyms. For example, you're using the word beautiful, like it's a beautiful day today. And if you need to use the beautiful one more time, then you need to use the synonyms like, oh, attractive is one of them, for example. Okay, it's an attractive matter, for example, that I have done this job well. Okay, so you're using different kinds of synonyms. And third one, grammar accuracy and wider ranges of grammar. Though many times, natives say that we don't have to know grammar, that is very much unlikely. If you're a student, if you're writing in exams, whether it's academic exams or any other certificate exams, your writing must be grammatically correct. Okay, so uh, you have to be careful. Now, many a times any students ask me, teacher, I don't know to find out my own mistakes. In that case, you have to uh, take help from a qualified and competent teacher who can help you. Bear in mind that sometimes being a student, we are not able to identify excuse me, our own mistakes. So a teacher will help you explaining and also showing why it is excuse me, incorrect or wrong. Okay, so that is very important. And wider ranges means you have to use different kinds of grammar structure when you're explaining without being the same rules. Okay, same types of patterns without following it. Okay, and pronunciation, Ahmed says, is fluent different? Is fluency? It should be. Is fluency different from pronunciation? Yes. Fluency is the speed, and pronunciation is the accuracy, how a word must be pronounced. As you might be aware, there are 2 types of IPA in English language, American IPA and the British IPA. And you have to be very careful. If you're interested to get good score, you must follow only one kind of IPA. Though many students mix it up in their presentation and speaking, which affects their score, and people and students do not know that. Okay, so you have to be careful about using pronunciation techniques. At least you should know the basic pronunciation techniques, because sometimes some words are really difficult to pronounce and some words are almost same, especially if you're using homonyms or some, you call it minimal pairs. Okay, like add, like for example, I'm writing add is a minimal pairs, or we call it homonyms. And also we have to be careful using the words. Sometimes they are noun and verb. Excuse me. So depending on the pronunciation, your listener will be able to understand whether it's a verb or noun. So each word has a stressed vowel sound, and we have to find it out. When you study pronunciation, when you join any teacher's live stream about the phonetics, then you'll be able to know, because you never know whether your pronunciation is correct or not. Okay, and sometimes we make wrong pronunciation. We pronounce words wrongly, incorrectly. We have to focus on it. You can only learn these things from a phonetics teacher who can explain and guide you. Okay, guys, so these are the basic criteria of speaking in IELTS exam. In IELTS exam, as I have explained earlier, if you are planning to study or applying for a scholarship or training or registration, you have to sit for the IELTS academic part. But if you are interested to migrate or work, in that case, you have to take the IELTS general test. And recently, there is another IELTS. It's called UKVI. Okay, and that is United Kingdom visa immigration. That's only for the spouse visa. And as you might be aware, spouse is the opposite partner of a person. It could be male, it could be female. In that case, their criteria are different. You have to sit for only speaking and writing test. That is only intended for for the spouse visa, not for the students or academic visa, student visa or immigration visa, I should say. So once again, guys, as you see, we are discussing about IELTS rubrics, and today I'm focusing on speaking part. What else we have to know when you're sitting for the IELTS exam in speaking part? In speaking part, there are 3 different tests: task 1, task 2, and task 3. Task 1 is a general conversation, where you'll be asked few questions, and task 2 is cue card, as you see on the screen, which is also called speaking part 2, where you'll be given a topic in a card, and you'll be given 1 minute to think about it, and after that you'll be asked to speak at least 2 minutes. Okay, and it is important for you, being an IELTS candidate, to speak minimum 2 minutes. My suggestion will be speak as much as possible until and unless the examiner says stop it now. Okay, and you can see that in cue card or the speaking part 2, there are some questions. The time 1 minute, what you'll be given to you, just point out those notes in the paper, that what you're going to talk. Like it says, describe a book that you read last year. Okay, so now you need to understand this first sentence is a past tense. So one of the basic rules and rubrics of IELTS exam is that you have to understand the question and answer it correctly. If you do not understand the question, it's much unlikely for you to respond it to correctly. So it's better for you to understand the question. But what happens in the speaking part or the cue card too, if you don't understand, you can ask the question to the examiner. So you got to be very careful. Okay, you must understand. But however, it's not a rocket science. We compare, like rocket science is a very difficult science. Most of the cases, the IELTS topics are very easy within your known environment. Okay, it could be from science, it could be from commerce, it could be from business, it could be from general English, or it could be from a daily life English, so you don't have to be worried. And sometimes people say that, can you change the cue card? No, you can't change the cue card. Whatever you've been given, You have to be prepared. And basically, the speaking part is nothing but creating a story. Even though people say that I never read a book in my life. So if you get this topic, what are you going to talk? In that case, you have to create a story, logical story, we said. Okay. So look at the question, describe a book that you read last year. Okay, so remember that it's a past tense, so you can start whatever you like to start. And many a times, some students start with a different way. The simple way is, hey guys, hello, I'm going to describe a book that I read last year. You're bringing an introductory sentence rather than going to the question directly. Or sometimes some students say, reading book is one of my hobbies, and reading books give me, more pleasure, more knowledge, which is why very often I read books. And one student started the same topic. Oh, it was not until my uh, last year when I had to read a book because it was COVID-19. I stayed at home. Look at those, different candidates start the topic in a different ways. And English language, there is a proverb: "Well begun is half done." When you start or when you begin the first sentence in an amazing way, the examiner will be able to understand that you're going to get good marks or not. So my suggestion would be, guys, okay, read the question of the cue card clearly, write the notes beside it, what you're going to talk, because after 1 minute, the examiner is going to ask you, start speaking now, and the examiner is going to watch the time. Okay, so you got to be aware of this fact. Then you tell the name of the book. The book I read, his name is, for example, you're describing William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Now we can say, I read the book of the British English writer, famous English writer, Romeo and Juliet. And when did you read it? I read it last year. You have to be specific, March, say 2021, or December 2021. And as you explain, you're demonstrating your grammar, you're demonstrating your vocabulary, you're demonstrating your pronunciation as well as fluency. So you have to be careful once again. If you want to get good marks, focus all these 4 parts. And I'm going to show you a video that will help you a little bit more, which is from the British Council, how IELTS exams speaking part is assessed by the examiner. Okay. And after that, as you go through, what kind of book it is? Is it a biography? It's a science fiction book? Or it is a thriller? Then you will just explain. Why do you like it? Then you can say, I'm a big fan of thriller, or I like sci-fi movies. I like sci-fi concepts. Then you can say any specialty, which means that is there any special character in the book? Say I'm giving the reference like Romeo and Juliet. Yes, I like Romeo and Juliet's character. They're like the history of love and relationship, you see. And you can describe if there is any character in the book. Be specific. Remember that. In IELTS exam, you got to be specific when you're answering. You can't be a generalized answer. Okay, you can't use a generalized answer. Is there any moral in the book? In some books, some stories, there is a moral. If you know the moral, just share with the examiner. Any other related information, that is an amazing part. I've seen in this question, many of my students always answered, oh, the book is beside my table or in my library. Whenever I visit the library, always reminds me the characters of the books. Or you can say, every morning when I wake up, I get sight of the book because it is beside my table. Once again, guys, remember, IELTS speaking part 2, your cue card is nothing but creating a story by your own. So you can create a story only when you know enough vocabulary, grammar rules, and also different types of grammar structure. Okay, so I'm going to show you the British Council's video. And the first one would be Fluency and Coherence. So bear me a moment, guys. And if you've got any question, if anyone is interested to join, guys, it's very easy. You have to visit my profile, and there are 2 free lessons or trial lessons are waiting for you. You can join the trial lessons from there. And remember that the trial lessons are only for 2 classes and hourly classes. In the Hallo, the policy is each and every class is an hour. Okay, it starts one time and finishes automatically after an hour because it is a counting down. So when you join with the free trial, you'll get only 2 lessons, and after that your subscription would be over. But if you think that the classes are helpful or beneficial or supportive, in that case you can subscribe with your money, which is $16. You have to pay $16 to the Hallo. Sometimes students ask us, why do you take this money? We don't take any money directly, guys. It's the Hallo. They take the money, and afterward they pay. Okay. So, to Donna, I've answered your questions. I'm from England, but I was not born here. I migrated quite a long time ago. Hello, Sakib, welcome. Hello, Verna, welcome. Hello, Saba, welcome. Okay, let's crack on the first part of IELTS speaking criteria, fluency and coherence. And you get 25% marks for fluency and using the coherence technique when you're speaking. So what do you understand? So this is a sample video from the British Council, guys, from the UK. So listen to it carefully, and if you've got any question, I'll explain.
So you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Congratulations. Success starts with IELTS. The speaking test is divided into 3 sections. Part 1 is the introduction and general questions. Part 2 is the long turn, and Part 3 is an analytical discussion. It's important to understand the criteria on which you will be tested in the IELTS exam. First, we consider the criteria of fluency and coherence. This is one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. We'll cover the other 3 in later videos. Fluency and coherence refer to your ability to speak at length, including organizing ideas logically and appropriately signposting. It also refers to your ability to express and justify opinions and to discuss and speculate about issues without long pauses or repetition of the same words. Signposting is the use of words or phrases that indicate the direction of your thoughts. We will give you some examples of this in a moment. Many students try memorizing large portions of speech to repeat during the speaking test, but this can add unnecessary stress and sound unnatural. We don't recommend this approach. Here are a few tips to improve your speaking test performance. As you are speaking about a topic, build on your point of view by adding a few details. For example, if the question is, "What do you do?" rather than responding with, "I am a teacher," you might expand this to, "I have been a high school mathematics teacher in New York for over 5 years." For part 2 of the test, use the bullet points on the task card to help you structure your long turn and make notes in the 1 minute that's given using key words. In part 3 particularly, it is important to develop your answers and to speak at length. You can do this by thinking of reasons, effects, comparisons, supporting examples, and personal experience. Just make sure you are signposting what you say. For example, discussing excessive TV watching, you might mention reasons, increasing numbers of TV channels compared to a generation ago, and the popularity of TV characters. Effects, increasing obesity levels, eyesight problems, and other health issues. Experience, My nephew watches nothing except cartoons. He will not study. Here are some examples of signposting for part 3 of the test. Compare, contrast. In my view, there are two main differences. Responding to a point. Yes, I agree because, or I'm not sure I agree with that. You see, speculating on the future. I think we'll probably see a lot of, or maybe there'll be more, or it's unlikely that we will have. Practice is the key to increasing your fluency. There are no shortcuts. Practice using English in everyday communication as much as you can. Record yourself talking about different subjects. Then play it back and listen for linking expressions, hesitation, words you may be repeating, and times when your speech is slow. This will help improve your fluency. The assessment criteria is the only thing on which you will be tested. You will not be assessed on your appearance, body language while speaking in the exam, or your creative ideas. IELTS examiners are very consistent with their application of the IELTS assessment criteria. It is the same assessment given everywhere in the country and everywhere in the world. For more information, please see the other speaking test videos, Lexical Resources, Grammatical Range and Accuracy, and Pronunciation.
Great, guys. So you've got a big insights how the fluency and coherence are important in IELTS exam. So welcome once again, Saba, Verna, and all the people who are watching silently. Dear viewers, once again, if you're interested to join, you have to visit my profile, or there is a button called subscribe to participate. You have to click on it, then you'll be able to join this lesson and have a direct interaction. It will help you develop your speaking, your quality of English and fluency. Please bear in mind that in IELTS exam, these are the 4 criteria. Once again, fluency and coherence. Number 2, lexical resources. Number 3, uh, grammatical range and accuracy. And number 4, pronunciation. Notice that there is no marks of having accent, okay? And there are 2 types of pronunciation in the world, as I've explained every time. American IPA and the British IPA, which is American English and British English. Okay, and there are distinct differences in both of them, and we'll discuss it in some other time. So let's focus on it. Speaking part 2. So speaking part 2 is more analytical from the video, as I've noticed, and you have to be more speculative when you're answering. Do not give any vague answer. If the question is directly related to you, give the answer under your perspective. And we very often or oftentimes use different kinds of expression when you're adding your own uh, comment or own opinion. And I'm going to show you some of this expression. Say if you're like to add your own opinion, we use in my opinion, first one. Okay. Though I have seen many times people use according to me. Generally in grammatically this doesn't sound natural. We use according to someone else, according to this book, according to this passage, according to this author or the writer. So do not use according to me. That will be an incorrect grammar. According to me is incorrect. Okay, do not use it. For your case, use like that. Okay, like in my opinion, uh, to my knowledge, sometimes people say, or I reckon. That's a very standard British English, reckon. Or sometimes they say, I think. Uh, Sometimes to my perception, to my perception. Okay, then you can say These are some of them. There may be some other ways. I'm just giving examples, guys. It doesn't matter whatever you use, but try to use the accurate expressions. And also, I have noticed that sometimes some students say, disclaimer, this is my opinion. Okay. Naeem, please do not advertise here, please. Okay. And you can find out any speaking partner through Instamatch. Ali says, sorry for the sudden disappearance. The internet has been cut out. Okay. So once again, when you're adding something from your own in I'll speaking part 1 or 2 or 3, sometimes some people use disclaimer. These are my opinions. Disclaimer, it's my logic. You can use this word disclaimer, which is really very standard word as well. Disclaimer. Yeah. If you want to use it, you're more than welcome. And once again, be specific when you're answering. This is my opinion. Disclaimer. Okay. So as we go through one by one the question one more time, describing a book that you read last year. Now you can see the first question, what's the name of the book? It's in present tense. Though you read the book last year, but this question is present tense. So you have to tell the name of the book, or the book's name is, what if I say Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare? Now you can ask me why we have used present tense in this case, though the topic is in past tense. We have to understand the grammar tells us and teaches us sometimes when it is universal, we have to use present tense. Say, for example, the sun rises in the east. It is always rises in the east, even in the past or present or in the future. Similarly, the name of the book doesn't change, though it was written, say, 300 years ago or 400 years ago by William Shakespeare. That's why we have used present tense. What's the name of the book? The book's name is Romeo and Juliet, say, for example, okay? Or any other book you have read recently. Then you go through the other questions like, when did you read it again? Past tense. What kind of book is it? This is also present tense because you're describing book at the moment. And why did you like it? Now you have to be specific. I like the book because it was a love story, or it was a tragic story that was written by the writer. And remember, for every question in IELTS exam, you'll have to have the time frame of 20 to 30 seconds. Do not make a longer answer. Okay, it will affect your score, and also it will be affecting your time. If you keep answering for one question, say lengthy answer, that will be really a negative impact on your score. So you need to be aware and careful about using the answer correctly. For every answer, we should be careful about making it 3 parts: introduction, body, and conclusion. So say something about the question to the specific answer, and after that you finish it, and the examiner is going to understand, oh, the answer is finished. Okay, and next is, what kind of book is it? Once again, why did you like it? You have answered it. Any specialty, that means any special character you like of the book, or any special quotations or dialogue, like to be or not to be. For example, Shakespeare's another quotation. Okay, and these are some of the sample answers, guys. But once again, if you're interested, you can hop on here, then you can participate and we can go from there. Practice is the key factor. Remember that if you want to develop your speaking or reading or writing, you have to practice every day. Focus on your weaker sides and make a plan how you can practice every day. All right. So the next question was, is there any moral in the book? Some books have some moral title. So morals we call something that we can learn, which is like a lesson for the humans. or any other related information that I explained already. Okay, now when the speaking part 2 is finished, it goes to speaking task 3, which is more analytical, and most of the cases speaking task 3 is somewhat related to the speaking task 2. Okay, so in that case, here the speaking task 3 would be what kinds of book, and also in speaking task 3 there are 2 common questions. That one of them is a question where you have to demonstrate a past tense, present tense, and future tense. But sometimes it is not necessarily it should be the same. As you can see, the patterns are changing for the IELTS exam. And previously the examiner used to ask, but still they can ask in the speaking task 1, your introduction and general questions. All right, so let me explain quickly this speaking task 3. Say, related to what kinds of book do you like to read and why? Again, you have to be specific when you're answering. Let me format it one more time. What kinds of book do you like to read and why? Then you answer, I like to read, say, novels, for example, or romantic thrillers. Okay, because it gives me pleasure, or it makes me happy, or it gives me more plot of imagination because I want to be writer in the future. Answer 2-3 sentences. Is library available in your country? Obviously, it is available in most of the countries. Why do you think that library is important? This is a bit critical question. You have to think of it. And library is important because we get books from there freely for a certain period of time. About a study book, it could be a non-fiction book and fiction book. It could be a, say, business book, commerce book, or geography book, because library is the place for all kinds of books. Then you can answer, can anyone borrow books from there freely? Yes, we can borrow. Like last night, there was a candidate who spoke that you have to member first to the library. You have to bring 2 types of proofs, proof of ID, number 1, and proof of address, so that the librarian can understand you are the right person and you've got the accurate address. That's a good answer, guys. Okay. Ali says, I love to read fiction books. Okay. You can name the books if you want to. And then you have to mention, if so, how many books can you borrow at a time? Now that it differs from a country to country. Like in the UK, we can borrow maximum 6 books at a time in a month. And that is for 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, you can't borrow more than 6 books. That's the rule in most of the places. But that person said to me that he's from Japan, that they can borrow 20 books in a month, which is really amazing. But the question is that, can you read 20 books in a month? No, it is much unlikely. You can't read 20 books. Even I cannot book, I cannot read 2 to 3 books in a month, more than. Okay. So try to give some logical answer when you're, being asked a question. Then how many days can you keep the book? I have already answered 4 weeks. We can keep maximum of 4 weeks. All right. Alice says, because the characters and story are amazing. Okay, you can get 2 books. I have 4 days borrowed from this office. Okay. Then if you do not return, next question, the book on time, do you pay penalty? Yes, in the UK, we do pay penalty if it is not returned within the time. They give us a reminder by email or by text message that your book is due, please return us, or otherwise it will be penalized. So the penalty is paid on a daily basis, maybe 10 pence, for example. If you don't return a book after the certain period of time, you pay 10 pence. So if I don't return within the 14 days, you pay £1.40. So what if someone becomes sick or not within the country? That's a different case, but you have to inform the library that, look, I'm sick. I'm not in the country at the moment. I'll return the book as soon as I'm back. But yet, because you haven't returned it, you have to pay the penalty. So you've got to be clear when you're explaining to this part. What happens if you lose a book? Now, this is another challenging question. If your book is lost under your control from home or from somewhere, maybe you're traveling by train or bus and you're reading, you forgot to take it from there, you lost it. You have to inform the library or the authority as soon as possible. And yet, they will penalize you because you lost the book because it was under your control. Okay, guys, so these are some of the techniques. As I said, speaking tasks 2 and 3. Now, if you remember, the next part of the IELTS exam, lexical resources. Let's watch the video from the British Council once again. What do you understand by the word lexical resources and vocabulary?
So, you've decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It's the test that opens doors around the world. Here, we look at the criteria of Lexical Resource. This is one of 4 criteria on which you will be tested. Look for the other 3 criteria in other videos. Lexical Resource focuses on the range of vocabulary a candidate uses. The wider the range, the better you will score. You will need to understand these factors to score well on the test. The ability to use vocabulary effectively, including the right collocation, that is, words naturally used together. For instance, lions roar. Lions do not shout. Alternatively, we make a phone call. We do not do a phone call. An awareness of connotation. This refers to the positive, neutral, or negative associations some words have. For example, laid back, positive. Inactive, neutral. Lazy, negative. Slim, thin, skinny. The use of less common vocabulary or expressions. Many candidates memorize impressive lists of vocabulary, but often end up using them in the wrong way because they haven't understood them properly. To improve your vocabulary, we recommend these steps. Always try to learn new vocabulary when reading in English. Look out for new words. Seeing words in their context helps you learn the meaning, usage, and collocation. Online newspapers are a good resource. These can also help you keep up on the vocabulary of current affairs. Group new vocabulary into related subjects and learn these together, rather than making long lists of unrelated words. For example, make a list of words about sports. Using mind maps often helps with this. Learn more synonyms. These are words or expressions which have a similar meaning. Knowledge of synonyms will help with all parts of the IELTS test. Try using a thesaurus. Make small word cards with the word written on one side of the card and the translation and an example sentence on the other side. You can then test yourself. Practice is the key. Not to memorize, but to practice discussing different topics, weaving in the vocabulary you have learned. Research shows practice improves test scores. Don't give up if you can't find the right word. Keep trying to explain what you mean, even if it takes a little longer. This is called paraphrasing. You will get credit for this. IELTS speaking tests include general everyday topics. Specialist knowledge isn't expected. The topics are relevant to all of the 135 countries in which IELTS is used. For more information, please see the other speaking test videos, Fluency and Coherence, Grammatical Range and Accuracy, and Pronunciation.
Okay, Cole, thanks for the subscription. I have invited you to join. Possibly might be busy. However, if you're free, you're welcome back to join me. Okay, I'm sure that guys, this video has illustrated many and much information about IELTS exam. Remember that lexical resource using vocabulary is one of the important parts to get good score. And it hasn't explained that how we can use it correctly, like collocation. Collocation is an important part for IELTS exam and any kind of speaking. So what does collocation mean, guys? Collocation is that technique when a word takes naturally the other part. For example, they gave an example like lions roar. Lions do not shout. Okay, babies shout. Babies cry. That's possible. Humans shout. Humans cry. But lions do not shout. Likewise, there's another example. We make a phone call. Okay, I'm just writing it. Make a phone call. Like, are you going to make a phone call to your friend? No, I'm not. I'm busy at the moment, so I can't make a call. I'll call you back. If you're free, please join call. That will be really great if you join me. You're from India. Okay, that's great. Um, Let me know if you like to join. I have invited you. Likewise, there are sometimes many collocations we use with make. Like sometimes I've heard people say, "Do a mistake." Uh, what happened now? Can you see me, guys? Oh, this happened on the other day as well. Suddenly, looks like this live stream has ended. I'll restart it, guys. I'm sorry. This technical glitch happened on the other day. I don't know why. I'm going to restart it. Sorry, guys. I don't know. This is the second time it happened. The live stream ended out of blue and I had to restart it. Okay, so we are describing collocation. Okay, so collocation is the technique when you use two types of words automatically. Okay, and basically one word should take naturally the second word. And we often have to be careful about using it. For example, make a mistake. We do not say do a mistake. If you ever say or write a do a mistake, that's really not correct grammar or correct English or correct collocation. And we got to be careful about that. All right, so it is really important for us to know the rules of collocation and how it works on your English language speaking as well as writing. Please bear in mind that being an IELTS candidate, you must know this. Otherwise, it's going to affect the score. Similarly, make a bed, make a cup of tea. Okay, there are many other words that start with make, but you just do like do your homework, do a research. Okay, do a survey, do me a favor. So these are other ways you can use do and make. Okay, so guys, once again we are watching the IELTS, tips and techniques. And if you're interested to join, you can hop on, you can subscribe, and also there would be free lessons waiting for you. Grab the opportunity before it's finished. Uh, the best and amazing way to develop your English language is to practice. Okay, practice every day. Practice on your weaker side. One of the amazing proven technique of practicing is that you have got a smartphone. Choose a topic and speak about the topic to your phone for 2 minutes and record it. After that, you listen to it, and many times you'll be able to understand that, oh, there are mistakes in grammar, there are mistakes in vocabs, even there are mistakes in pronunciation. And then you can just amend it by yourself because you know how to find out your own mistakes, you know how to find out your wrong use of vocabs, and you know how to find out to develop your quality. Practice, guys, okay? Practice makes you progress every day. I don't say perfect because no one is perfect in the world. Even the natives are not perfect either. Okay, so it's better for you to practice every day. Give some time every day. Focus on your weaker side so that you know what to do, you know how to practice. Okay, guys, so we're going to finish our lesson in less than 2 minutes. And I believe that if you've got any information about the IELTS exam, just apply it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to forget. We are humans. We tend to forget everything. That's why we use the word practice. We study a lot to know. By studying more is the only way you can develop your knowledge. By practicing more is the only way you can develop your quality. Okay, and I'll suggest you, we have got Instamatch, we have got Instaclass on the Hallo. And sometimes people ask that, hey, how to use this Instamatch or Instaclass? Okay, in that case, we have got here, I don't know if you can see it or not, that is Instaclass and Instamatch. When you go to the Instaclass, you'll find the teachers waiting to be connected. You can choose the photo, touch on it, on the photo, and you'll be straight away connected to the teacher. Now there is a uh, you know, there is something you need to know. In order to join a teacher through Instaclass, you have to have money because it is really minimum $5 for 20 minutes. Okay, and if you don't have money, possibly you'll not be able to join. Even on the live class, you can also join, and also you can learn lots of things. Thank you very much once again. Hello, Asana, my pleasure. Our class is going to finish in less than 15 seconds. Please practice every day and follow and support me and all other Hello teachers. You will be able to learn a lot of things, guys. I can guarantee. Thank you and see you later. Bye.